Wow.
We're going live.
Okay.
Let me put some pants on. Hold on.
This
This was a pants-free podcast.
Instagram's up.
There it goes. We just
Behave
went live.
yourself, Wackerle.
It's always me.
We need to put a banner up. Okay, Wackerle, behave yourself now. Act like an adult.
Yep.
Heck, when I act like an adult, y'all just don't get it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. There you go.
Special Officer Doofy report.
That's Wackerle.
So you never bother me when I'm back in my room.
Okay, we're live on YouTube. We have anybody
Here we
in
are.
there? Oh, we got some people. Some people.
Mm-hmm.
Peoples.
Welcome, everyone.
Oh,
Y'all ready,
howdy,
boys?
Welcome. Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Welcome to episode 96. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and I'm joined by my co-host Matt with Wacky Works, BJ with Byroms Custom Woodworks, and the famous Mustachio from the Wooden Mustache. How y'all doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Oh, it's a beautiful day down here in Texas.
It is.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sun's out. No mosquitoes. A little cool. Got some rain. It's all good.
Mm.
You got some rain?
Yeah, Friday.
Oh,
Thursday.
yeah.
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday it rained pretty hard.
It's been raining here since Saturday. Since Saturday. And hadn't let up. It's supposed to rain until Wednesday.
Heck, across town went they got like 2.5-inch hail
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang.
west of where I live. It hit pretty hard. On that end, we could see the thunder and stuff. We just got a bunch of rain and some wind. Neighboring town about 30 minutes away from here had a tornado touchdown, took some roofs off, and did some damage out that way. It was funny because one of us, we were talking about tornadoes, I guess in one of our little chats or something. I said, nah, not too often. And hell, that night, one touchdown, and I was like, huh, well,
Go ahead. Speak of it.
yeah.
It's that Beetlejuice thing. Say
But it was crazy. You know how people will say it sounds like a freight train or whatever, but sitting out here, we could see that storm as it was moving in, but you could hear that sound like that roar,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that woo, and it was wild.
Yeah.
And like the sky turned a little greenish, like a different color. It was weird.
oh.
Green usually means hail, is from what I've heard.
Hell, it don't mean green.
We haven't. We've been dry up here since what, Tuesday, Wednesday, which has been nice because I needed to get the yard mowed, and it was still, some spots were still a little wet, but had to get it mowed. It was looking pretty rough.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett. No, we weren't on Friday. Everybody took the weekend off. We all had obligations to do. Well, I went out of town. These guys, I know they were all busy doing other stuff, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this Friday we'll have one.
There we go.
See what happens.
Yeah, it should be around. I should be around.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird week. Mustache was out of town, coming back in, just busy. So
Yeah.
those will only happen when we have a time and everybody can get together. So anyhow, well, why don't we get this rock and rolling, Mr. BJ?
Let's get over into this beautiful segment that we like to call "What's Glue with You." Not yet sponsored. Maybe one day. Could be. You never know.
Need somebody.
Telling you.
We
to jump on
need
that
someone
train.
to come in here like a boss and
Oh,
show us dogs how to do this.
This guy.
You like that? Well, we'll start it off with the man, the myth, the face of the podcast, and the question that everybody wants to know:
What's in the box?
He
Where's,
missed
where's
it.
my thing?
Ah,
It's horrible. That was
failed.
terrible.
We've got so many new assets in the media catalog. I couldn't find it.
Failed.
What'd you get? Oh, you got a
The bench.
Hurry up
dogs,
and read
the-
it because this thing's heavy. Can you
the
see me
bench
trembling?
cookie. Well, it's out of focus. I couldn't read it.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
Have some of those.
It's
Yeah.
a bench cookie plus gripper master kit from Rockler
Nice.
in the box.
Those
the
those
box.
fit in dog holes, don't they, Joey?
And
They
there
can.
goes your live on air sign.
Yeah, I shouldn't have thrown that like that.
Ah,
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, they do.
I
Looking
love me
forward
some
to
bench cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably use them in what, about a year? 6 months? 2 years?
They're still not done marinating. They got another
No,
week to
okay.
go. So this week,
At least another. Okay.
the bamboo printer finally made it into the office. It's sitting around the corner over there.
In a box.
Still hasn't come out of the box. It's still got the wraps around it. We'll get to it. I think I'm gonna get to it this week. I think I'm gonna try to shoot that video, or let's say film it. I'm not gonna shoot it. I'm gonna film it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the unboxing. I'm still trying to process how I'm gonna do that video. I'm not too sure yet. Kind of what's been holding me up, just figuring out how I want to go about filming that. I mean,
I would recommend at least with a camera.
Yeah.
that might help.
Yeah.
Or
That
a
might
phone.
help. Either one, right? So, in the shop, I got this done finally, or to the point. I still got to do some organization, but
That's good.
everything's set up. The laser's ready. I fired it, ready to do some stuff. So that's going to get used in another project that I'm going to undertake. And I think out in the shop, y'all know that I did that sustainer wall. I think I'm going to end up moving that and rearranging that and moving it to the back wall. I think it's better suited there because I've got some plans, and then putting my moving the Tormek and all the sharpening to the wall that it's on currently. And that way I can have room to make a bigger tool storage for my hand tools. So
Nice.
I think that's what I'm going to do. And pretty much in here, I'm ready to roll. My printers are all cleaned up. They've been maintained. So I'm going to get back going on that. I've got some stuff I want to print. I did order. I've been using the dryer and it's helping. I don't understand why it's not getting this filament down. The best I've been able to get it is to 20%. And that's leaving it in for 8 hours. So turn your volume down, whoever just turned it on. And so I ordered some of that loose desiccant. Mustache had ordered some, and I need to 3D print some of those holders to put them in the actual bags. I did have I think you were mentioning it this weekend when we chatted, Mustache, that one of those bags did fail on those sealers. It was brand new. As I was putting it to sucking the stuff out,
Yeah.
I heard a pop, and I think that valve, I haven't really done investigation, but I think that valve let loose, that one-way valve in there. So
Interesting. My fails have been from not like ziplocking it completely. That's what I've messed up on.
I heard that pop and I didn't pay mind to it, and then I thought when I sealed it, it held, and probably about 30 minutes later I came back and it had just released. So I was like, what the heck? And I thought it might be the deal, but that was tied up pretty good, the Ziploc part. So anyways, change it out, put another one, and it's been fine. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Now that I'm done in here, I can start concentrating back out in the shop, get some stuff going out there, maybe finish some of all those projects that I've started. But yeah. What about you, Wackerle?
We haven't got much done in the shop. We did start resurfacing, I guess, or reclaiming a refrigerator that it's like one of those small ones, and we're gonna put it inside the house for just drinks and stuff of that nature, so that way it's doesn't take up any room in the refrigerator. But my wife wanted to paint it, so we surfaced it, and then she's painting it in it's either blue or green or some color. I don't know, but I know she ran out of it, and we had to go to Home Depot and get her some today to finish that project up. And she's got all the parts pulled off from it and painted, and then the actual stuff. Yes, that's right. Diet Cokes. That's right. Or her root beer. So, but yeah, so we done that, and then we started cleaning up the shop, getting ready for. I got to do some casting. Got to do some casting. So I'll be casting up some pen blanks, some knife scales here shortly. And then I'm probably going to start doing a lot of turning because I got a lot of bowls I got to at least get down to roughing to put in, to start drying back. Thinking about y'all's question there about the drying out of the filament. Have y'all ever thought about like putting an actual dehumidifier into a small box? Just dehumidifying it that way?
Well, I found one on Amazon. It was actually pretty reasonable. Well, I mean, I say pretty reasonable for what you're getting. It was a storage box like the size of a, mini refrigerator. It was like $256.
Yeah.
And I was like, they showed it for the purpose of filament inside, but it's a dehumidifier box. And I was like, wonder if that's worth it or not.
So the one I have is for electronics, and it only takes it down to about 50%. So if you had, it'll maintain 50%. But if you put they make those small dehumidifiers. I'm almost positive that would work. That you could put it and then have it venting outside of it. Because you can close it and it's got a seals up the door, everything, glass case on front, lights all the way around it. I'm sure that would. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I've tried it for other things.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about doing that just to be able to have dry storage at a constant, constantly. I don't know. When you guys say things, my brain goes. So
How?
Yeah, just like that. If you didn't catch it the first time, you'll catch it on the reel. That's right. Write it down there, BJ. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm at is just fixing things up and getting things cleaned up. We've had so many projects out in the shop. It's a disaster zone to the point where you don't want to start nothing new because you gotta get everything cleaned up just to be able to do so. So that's where I'm at. What about you there, Mustachio?
Well, I was in Vegas for most of the week. I did get out in the shop Friday night and Saturday night. I still had a bunch of lumber that I needed to put somewhere. And on my back wall of my shop, I had just an open wall. So I had a few extra, I can't remember the brand of those hangers. But I put some
the lumber racks, right?
Those racks? The like three tier like metal ones. I put those up on the back wall, and I had like a bunch of it's mainly like rough oak and a few other species and stuff. I mean, it looks absolutely terrible. Some of it's cupped a little bit and stuff, but run that through the planer, and that oak cleans up real nice. It looks really good. Yeah. So I got that all situated. I hung on the underside of the shelf up above my window. There's just like dead space. There's nothing there. So I'm turning that into my like charging station. And I mounted 2 of my Milwaukee chargers and one of the Festool ones. And now I gotta hang the battery holders up there also, and I can kind of get that all straightened out. And then just kind of I'm in a weird spot with all the like random tools spread out all over the shop. I need somewhere to kind of like put them. I'm almost thinking about getting something, maybe another tool chest. I don't know. I'm indifferent on what I want to do for putting all those little random doodads and stuff. So
they make during the holidays, you can usually find those ones like at the big box store that have like a work surface on top. And they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
Come with a lot of different options. I mean, pretty neat. Some of them even have one that'll raise, and that can be like a battery charge station or something where like right underneath it lowers back down. Some even have one that I like. It even has a table that expands out and makes the top bigger, like if you need more work surface.
Ooh, oh, that's kind of cool.
And those are usually around I've seen them for as cheap as about $6.99, and it's a big box, but it's a big toolbox. A lot of storage.
I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money, but
just a thought.
Well,
I'll look around.
You don't have a lot of room in there, anyways. I mean,
No,
you want to be able to tuck the storage that you have, and I've found that sometimes the best way to be able to get more storage is to organize the storage that you already have.
Yep.
Just saying.
Oh.
Yep. I agree. I mean, I have a what is it, like a three-piece tool chest from I think it's Craftsman.
It is.
And that's pretty much I could probably like reorganize some of the drawers in that and stuff, but because I got that bottom drawer that's just like random crap that are just like, yeah, whatever. You get that random drawer that just catch all for everything.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll build a cabinet or something. I did start 3D printing some of the 45-degree can holders, and oh, I can't sell the CNC, Jamie. But I did start printing some of these 45-degree spray paint can holders because I have them all in a cabinet right now, and all I can really see is that front row. I have no clue what's behind the second, third, fourth row of spray paint and stuff. So I'm gonna mount those to the left of that, and then that'll open up the that red shelving system. And I was talking with Matt last night about possibly doing like a couple doors on it, because I don't care how good your dust collection is, like you're gonna get everything covered in a thin layer of sawdust. At least I do. So yeah, that's
seems like you might get a little bit more some of your wood gone there, that if you used a CNC to cut those paint holders out. I think Joey's got a file for that.
Where's the mute button for him?
All I gotta say, if you sell that CNC, I'll drive up to Massachusetts and slap you.
I would never sell that CNC
over that scroll saw.
Well, I mean, since I got the laser, even that diode laser, like I use that scroll saw very, very minimally now. So I might even sell the scroll saw.
I mean, the scroll saw weighs a lot more than that CNC, right? I mean, because you got a pretty heavy duty CNC.
Yeah.
Or
you know what it'll be good for? You could 3D print a deal for your rattle can spray cans, and you can mount it on top of that scroll saw, and it can just shake it for you. That's what it's good for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I'm gonna get a hit put on me one of these days by the scroll sawers. I'm just messing with y'all, folks. I'm not serious.
Yeah. BJ, what was blue with you?
Well, I actually did something with my scroll saw this week.
Did you lean it up against the door to hold it up?
I had to move it to find a screw that I dropped.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. A screw fall behind it, and I was like, "Damn it, sucker's heavy." No. What's glue with me? Well, let's see. Finally, God, I swear, I have a clip I want to play, but I can't because it's not stream friendly. Anyways,
Exactly. There you
go. Finally got all those sheets of HDPE out of the shop. My buddy came and picked it up Saturday. Yeah, Saturday after volleyball game. So got that out. So I was able to clean up in the shop. I haven't done a whole lot other than just clean. I kind of took some time and just got out there and cleaned because the shop really needed it.
We call that the mustachio syndrome.
I mean, I didn't have any projects going, so I was like, you know what, let's just get out here and let's clean. It needs it. Organize a few things. Got my, speaking of spray paint cans, which I love the 3D printed option, but I have found that the best thing to store spray paint cans in is a milk crate, because you can take the milk crate and mount it on its side, so the open end is facing you, and just stack the spray paint cans in there.
Have you ever had any issues with them? They say that's not good. I don't know. So you need to mount them. Yeah, you need to mount them in an angle.
I've never.
I don't know.
Now, I mean, that could be why when I pulled a can out of there to use it a while ago, it didn't work. So maybe I might have ruined about 20 cans of spray paint. So
yeah, they say you're supposed to put them in an angle. I mean, that's just doing a little bit of research.
Honestly, I could probably all the cans that I've got of spray paint that are stored right now, I haven't touched in forever, so they probably should be just thrown away anyways. Because I'm pretty sure spray paint's got a shelf life, I would think.
Yeah, they don't last long in my house.
Yeah, they might.
So who knows? Probably wouldn't hurt to throw it all away.
If it sprays, I'll use it. That's my motto.
That's but got it was like, what we were talking about before we started. So the dust collection piping is on its way. We're just waiting on confirmation from the freight company to schedule delivery, because they're gonna have to. Someone's probably I would gather something like that. Someone will have to be home to sign for it. It's a fairly large shipment. They say a 350-pound crate, and I don't know much about shipping, but they said it's coming on a skid, not a pallet. So I guess that's bigger. I don't know.
It would be like it would be long.
Long
pallet.
So
do you have to have a way to unload it, like a piece of equipment?
No, it was an extra $100 to do
pallet jack lift gate.
Yeah. I was gonna try. I've got a buddy that has a warehouse that we were gonna see if we could have it delivered there, because they've got a forklift. But he talked to his boss and he's like, yeah, he can have it delivered here, but it has to be gone that day. And I couldn't guarantee that. So
if it comes with a pallet jack, or if it comes with a lift gate, it's going to have a pallet jack. So just wheel it to the house.
Yeah, and I'll just have them wheel it in front of the shop door, and then I'll just offload it from there. We're not expecting any rain.
Worst case scenario there, you put a tarp there, so that way.
Yeah, and it's all stainless, so a little bit of rain ain't gonna hurt it. I'll at least get the stuff that can be damaged out. But what's cool? So they sent me they send you the what is it, the bill of lading or whatever, and they also send you a install sheet.
Cool.
And I thought it was kind of cool because I was looking through. I mean, it's like putting together a giant Lego set. It's, you start with this piece and work your way down the line, and they tell you how to hang certain pieces a certain way so the next piece goes on easier. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about that.
But you're going to do a comparison?
Yeah, so I need to get out there, and that's one of my plan this week is to get out there and get all the numbers for what I've got now. I don't know if I necessarily want to. I guess. Oh yeah, I need to film. I should probably film it where it is now, and have all the numbers, and then film it after. So we're doing 2 videos. That's what they requested. So they want an install video and a test video.
And are you gonna do the flex line that you have coming off your stuff, and then hard line it to see what the difference is?
I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, because the flex hose that I've got now, that's how I'm gonna measure it. And I'm debating. So like on like my router table, should I and it's kind of where I'm figuring where how I'm gonna test it. Should I test it at the top of the router table, or should I test it at the pipe going into the box?
You need to test it with the flex hose on, but take it off the box, because you can't measure it on that box. There's too much variance. Too much, yeah.
Yeah.
But take the hose off, leave the flex hose attached to your pipe, but do it at the
end.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna do. I just I've got if I shut off the upper rail, what is it? The fence for the router table, then all the suction goes through the actual table, not through the fence.
Yeah, but it's still going to be, you're still going to have a significant drop. I wouldn't do that, because
everybody do it off the hose. Different. Yeah.
You do it off the hose.
Do it off the hose. Okay.
And then once they plug it into their equipment, whoever uses it, like sets it up like you, it's going to be different, because they're not going to have all the same, they're not going to have the same setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the way the new system's designed is the only tools that will have flex hose are the CNC, the planer, and I think that's it. I think everything else, well, no, the router table and the bandsaw will have like 6 inches of flex hose. But we're going as far straight pipe as we can. So,
and it's pretty much standard on everything. I mean, it's nice if you can hardline it, but you're still going to have a little bit of flex hose.
We're going to attempt to hardline directly into the miter saw box, and then the table saw, of course, which that was on Matt's recommendation, just doing hardline all the way to the table saw. So, but yeah. But other than that, I've just been working. It's the first of the month, and you know how the jobby jobs are at the first of the month. That's when the panic starts in. So, but yeah, no, it's just that's it. Well, let's Mustachio, I think you had something you want to talk about.
I do have something to say. Let's see. I would like to give a big old shout out to our Patreon members who are helping us keep the lights on and run this show. I'd like to give a shout out to Keith Drennan from Blackthorn Concepts, and Scott Shirk from Willow Creek Lumber, Don Patterson from What's Next Woodworking, Mike Holmes from Broken Lead Woodworks, Matthew Serio from Artigiano Serio, Jason Sullivan from JM Sullivan Woodworks, and Victor. God, I didn't write your last name down, Victor, and I feel terrible. Victor from Whim Designs, and Victor was my Santa Claus for the CNC, so I am dropping the ball over here. But if anyone would like to join those fine folks and help us support the show, we would greatly appreciate it. You can head over to Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram on the Creative Makers page and get on our Patreon and become a member. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
There you go. And we're getting closer. 4 more shows. 4 more shows. We got a pretty good lineup leading up to there. And then we have the big 100th episode. So I hope to see you all there. And just remember, you have to be present. Anyhow.
So, okay, hold on. I want to interject something real quick before we get into our subject. Because I did a little Google foo real quick while he was talking about that. Because the spray paint thing It got me thinking.
Oh,
And everything I've been reading says that and these are like artists that use spray paint a lot. They leave it on their side because it keeps the solids from settling to the bottom and potentially clogging the
hose.
And several comments in this thread I'm reading are like, oh yeah, I've left cans on their side for 5-6 years, shake them and they work. Now, granted,
So on their
probably,
side, not on their bottom, not
yeah,
standing straight up and up.
yes,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
horizontally, not vertically.
There you go.
Now, this is also a I don't know if necessarily call it a graffiti forum, so it's like graffiti artist type stuff. So they're probably using much higher quality spray paint than what you're buying at the big box store. So that could make a difference too, because you know the stuff that we buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart and all that stuff. That's usually not the best quality. It's because it's usually the nozzles for me that go bad. They clog up.
Well, you're supposed to spray it once you're done spraying. You turn it upside down and give it a squirt.
Well, but there's so many some of these new cans you can spray in any angle and upside down. So if you spray them upside down, they still work.
Yeah, but that's just before you store it. Have you ever seen that happen? Have you ever?
Well,
seen
yeah,
that?
that's what my mom used to always tell us to do, is like using spray varnish and stuff. You'd always turn it upside down and spray it real quick. But I've seen some of these newer spray paints where it's like, oh, spray it any angle, even upside down. So if you're turning it upside down, it's not doing anything. But I get what you're saying, because yeah, we were always told to do that back when. So yeah. So anyways, I thought that was interesting to throw out there.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into this topic here, and we're going to talk about woodworking jigs.
Hey, nobody said we were dancing. What?
Dancing? Who's dancing?
Who's dancing?
A jig? Oh, come on, really?
What Joey thought we were with that hat on. Come on.
I hate everything.
You were gonna say something. Can you?
With that hat on, I thought we were going line dancing. Come on now.
Yeehaw!
Scoot and buggy. Anyway. So where do you want to start with the jigs? Do you want to go by tool, or do you want to? Which ones do you use the most in your shop?
Just shoot it. Just get it. Just go.
So I'm just going to go right off the bat with the bandsaw jig for cutting circles. I use that at least once a week. I mean,
can you explain how that's made?
So I make mine. You can buy stuff from Wackerle, Woodcraft, stuff like that. They do have stuff that you can buy from. But I can't even not laugh at you.
Just go. Go.
But anyways,
don't pay no attention to her.
I use 2 sheets of plywood, and so I have a bottom sheet, and then the top sheet is cut all the way back on the back side of it, so that it'll come up to a center point. It has a stop, so it stops, and then I have a slide, which I use a piece of why can't I think of the name of it right now? T-track, and I have a screw.
Really? Okay.
I have a screw set into it, so it's exactly at the kerf of the blade. So when it's cutting the circle, it's cutting directly right where it needs to. It's centering off what it needs to, and I have a tape set off on it so that it is set up on obviously your half. So if you're 5-inch, it'd be a 10-inch bowl, but it's a 5-inch radius. And so the way I can cut all my circle jigs real fast, because I'm basically taking a half. We have a log, cut in half, cut the pith out of it, and then I'm just cutting the circles so that way I don't have to round it off on my lathe and beat myself to death trying to do that. I've already knocked down all my edges on that. It makes it real easy.
Cool. Anybody
else use that?
No, I don't have a circle cutting jig for my bandsaw, but what since we're on the bandsaw subject,
It'd be cool
I
if you
have.
did.
Well, I don't. I have a CNC that cuts circles, so you know.
Well,
I
out of
don't,
logs.
and I don't turn.
So just say you just
So-
don't turn. You're not a
Yeah,
turner.
as Jimmy DeResta or whoever would say, I don't lathe. No,
Jimmy does. But go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, he does. But I don't lathe. He lathes. I don't. Anyways,
okay.
no. So, but it's 4 logs. I built a like mini milling jig, so I can take a log, run 2 screws in,
And cut your strips.
cut my do a straight line rip,
Mm-hmm.
and then just scoot it over an inch.
What size blade are you running when you do that?
The 3/4, the 3/4 Resaw King blade.
Yeah. Okay.
For now, if anybody in the chat has a recommendation, because I kind of want to get away from the Resaw King blade, just to see if there's something else out there that's a little bit better. I've had some really bad luck with these blades lately, breaking way faster than what they used to. And I'm doing all the right things, taking tension off, doing all that stuff.
So the only thing I do different is I'm running a 1-inch, but my wheel allows for that.
See, I can't because I've got the 1412, and I can only do a 3/4 inch.
So you think you're over tensioning it?
No, because I bought a tensioning guide for
That was
it.
my next question. Do you have that one that
I've got that one, and then there was a while where somebody was like, I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not supposed to, if you're using it on a daily basis, don't detension and tension it because that will overstress the weld." And so, I didn't do that. Well, then I went I forgot to detension it, and I went 3 months without using it, and so because it was in tension, it developed a memory to the wheels. And you could hear it slapping, or not slapping, but you could hear it as it went around. And all of a sudden, the whole saw started vibrating and then pop, which I actually got that one on video. But so I make it a point to detension it and then retension it every time because I don't use it every day.
Yeah.
But I've checked and double checked the tension, watched every video, and I've got the tensioning jig for it. And that's one of the reasons I've actually thought about upgrading to that new Harvey bandsaw because it has a digital tension meter. It will help you dial in exactly.
Oh. What?
I don't know the price on it, and I don't know I think that one's only in their 220 model, but I just don't know what. And I've heard a few other people that have had some issues with the Reebok blade, so I don't know if Laguna's just gone down a little in their quality with their blades. And what's crazy is I've never had one break on the weld. It always breaks mid blade.
What kind of guides are you running? Are you running bearing guides or are you just running brass guides? What are they?
No, it's not brass. It's whatever Laguna puts on theirs. It's not a hard plastic. Hold on, let me look it up. I can tell you what it is.
It's probably neoprene. But what I run on mine is I changed mine out, upgraded it. I run the Grizzly.
Okay.
But I have I got the upgrade automatically. I went to the wheel bearings. Made a tremendous difference. When I was running the flat bearings, if I ever had a catch or anything like that, it would catch that, and then it would give me almost like a bend or a pinch, and then that's where it ended up breaking it. And then the other thing is push speed, making sure that you're not, pushing it a little too fast. That was the other one.
And that's how I've always made sure, I take my time, don't force anything, just let it goes.
Right.
Let it go. But go back to the jig. So that jig, it's a 2-part because it has, I can do full log. So I've got it set up where I can do a 2-foot long log up to it has to be a certain size. I think 6 inches is the smallest I can go just because of the way it mounts. And what's cool is the piece that the log mounts to, it can come off. And then I've got the Wackerle hold down clamps that I'm putting the T-track, and I can run if for any of the boards I'm doing, charcuterie boards or anything like that, I can do a straight line rip with it too. So it's not.
What's your max thickness on yours? 10?
13-inch.
13?
Oh, for the bandsaw is 13. Yeah, it's a resaw capacity of 13, but with the jig, I lose
3/4 of an inch. Yeah.
3/4 of an inch to an inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just to go sideways for a second, I didn't know about that Harvey bandsaw that you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Did you look it up?
That is almost $7,000.
Ooh, okay, never mind. We're not upgrading to that anytime soon. And so to answer your question, Matt, it's ceramic guides is what Laguna.
Ceramic. Okay.
Yeah. So if you leave the blade tension and run it for a couple of minutes to warm up the blade and get rid of the vibration.
Yep.
Huh. I never thought about that because it's usually just tension it, turn on the saw, start cutting, and go.
No, and see, ours has like the Grizzly has a tension guide on it that you can see it through, and I can just tension it more or whatever. And then it's got a chart on those each blade has its own chart of where it should be at.
Okay.
Yep. But I would definitely upgrade it to the bearing guides. It might help.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're rolling and what you're doing is basically friction.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be adding to the problem.
And you see it when you're resawing or anything, you see it sparking against that rear guide.
Well,
so
that's the bad thing. That's what's messing it up. Yeah, because that's your thrust bearing there, and that's not good.
Correct.
That's going to weaken anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that back bearing. So it's the upgrade was 2 bearings, a round bearing. It's a bearings on the sides, and then it's got a bearing in the back as well. And so it's not
rolling with it. Yeah,
exactly. You never get a spark or anything off from it, but you're not supposed to push it hard enough where it touches that anyways. So your lineup, if you watch Snodgrass's his setup, the bearing should be back far enough away from the kerf that it doesn't interfere with that. And then the back should be so that there is like a 30-second away from it. So it shouldn't touch it. So when you push into it, you shouldn't be hitting that unless you hit like a knot or something like that. That's where that's supposed to catch. But you're not supposed to be using the bearing as a stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've watched that thing like 50 times when I was setting it up, and then just watch the setup and how he set that kerf up, and that helped me out when you're setting that kerf up on your wheel.
Yeah.
And then set your bearings up based off of that.
And there's Carter sells a setup. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have your model. Now, I don't know if you could cross-reference anything over like to Grizzly or if what is yours, a Laguna?
It's a Laguna. I just looked at Carter Tools. They've got it for like 3 something. And then sawblade.com has it too for the 1412.
Yeah, so. I think Jason has one of the Carter guides for his bandsaw. If you want any information,
Jason
Sullivan.
Okay,
one of our patrons.
One of our patrons.
That's right.
Well, Jason, if you're listening, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk to you about it.
I would definitely look into that before you buy a whole nother saw, BJ, because that'd probably make a big difference.
Yeah, they did with mine.
Okay.
In fact, the bandsaw was one of my worst. It was one of my most hated tools in my shop until I changed my guides, and then really watched. And you skim over when you watch sometimes, but I really sat down and watched Snodgrass's video on all this stuff, and I watched it like several times until I figured it out, and I was like, this is what I'm doing wrong. It's just one little nuance, and it changes everything you do.
Okay. And that's the thing, because y'all know I love my bandsaw. It is by far one of my favorite tools in the shop. So this would just make it that much better. And that's why I haven't been using it, because it's like, there goes another $150.
Yeah.
And used to, and that's why I used to give Laguna props, because used to, if I broke a blade, they were like, hey, we'll send you another one. Because I think back in the day, they had like a 5-year guarantee on their blades, but they've changed upper management or leadership, and now it's a 6-month guarantee only on the teeth or something. They've changed how they do everything.
And you said those are Timberwolf blades?
No, Laguna. It's the Laguna Resaw King blade.
And how long ago did you buy them?
These blades are probably, I think my newest blade is probably 4 years old.
Well, there was a time, and I don't think it was their brand, but I don't know, depending on who makes them. But there was a time when they had a bad batch of blades going bad, and they were breaking. And I'm wondering if you have some from that time frame. Because I want to say it was around that time frame, and it was a bad weld, and that's why you keep breaking them.
They're not breaking at the welds; they're breaking mid blade. I could get it if it was if the weld was breaking. You really think it's the guide?
I do.
Well, it's adding friction, and then if you're pushing hard, and
I'll get up there and jack with it later.
Yeah, especially because that's straight and you're catching, and if it's sparking, then it's hitting and gripping. And so it's gonna snap.
It's heating that blade up more than it should be.
I know Lee from Regal Street. He went through multiple blades on his Laguna shortly after he got it. And I don't remember what brand blades they were. They could have been Laguna, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but I was talking with him one night and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm just gonna get some like Timberwolf blades or something because I'm done."
Okay.
I'm sick of these breaking on me.
Yeah, because those gets expensive. But
it does.
Another jig, and this is not one that I made, but I really like it for cutting since we're on the circle deal, and it's not going to help for turners, but Milescraft has that router jig for cutting circles. Yeah. And it's very inexpensive and it works great. I love it. I picked that up. In fact, that's what we cut the circle when we were doing the dust collector deal. That's why I bought it, for that reason, just to cut circles. And that thing's easy to set up, mounts to pretty much any router. And I mean, the setup is simple and it works like a dream. That thing is great to use if you're cutting a lot of circles and you want to use a router. I highly recommend that Milescraft jig. I think you picked it up for what, $30 or something. I
have the Rockler. I have the Rockler one of that, and I love it. That thing's great. My biggest complaint is figuring out which holes to use and what orientation. I literally have to go back on my phone and look at videos to be like, how is the router oriented on
personal problem.
I'm just gonna say
Matt laughed too. Matt laughed.
He's like a little kid, man. Like a little kid. He just
what?
He can't help himself sometimes.
I can't. I really can't.
He started to get on me earlier when we first came in here. And like, Jesus Christ.
So let me ask this question real quick. Do y'all like buying the store-bought stuff, or do you like making your own sometimes? Which ones do you prefer?
Depends on what I'm doing. A lot of times, though, I will, if I can make it, I'm going to make it.
Yeah, for like that circle jig that I have from Rockler, I could easily make that.
Yeah.
But I could also buy it. I could also buy it for $40 and boom, zero work. Work. You know, your time, it comes to the time you want to spend.
And at the same aspect, there's other ways of doing it. Like if you had a CNC that worked, you could have like your CNC do your circle jigs. That wasn't actually, I'm talking about all of us. I was talking about all of us. Because Joey has a CNC right now that doesn't work as well. And mine is full of crap right now. So it's not working as well. I think BJ is the only one that's got one running right now. So
well, and it's you talk about making circles with the CNC. So the other day I had a buddy come by. He needed to make a wedding, like not like a sign-in book, because I see a lot of people are doing like a wooden plank to sign all the guests sign.
Okay.
And I was like, well, hey, how big does it need to be? He's like, oh, I need a 20-inch circle, and I've got 2 HDPE, circle jigs. hanging on the wall. And
Mhm.
of course, the biggest one I have is 18 inches. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll use my CNC. Oh darn.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean it's super simple just to put a
Yeah.
circle on it and have it do it, and it's perfect. No work really involved. Oh, well, there is with the setup and everything, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait.
So going, and the reason I asked about the manufactured is I have one that I've had since I think it was passed down to me actually, and it's from the early '80s. They had it before then, but it was a tenon jig for your table saw, and so it is cast iron,
Okay.
and it's got all the cranks and locks everything in place. And I did a video on doing castle joints on the table saw, but I made my own and I didn't use it because I thought to myself, not everybody has this jig. So I just made my own jig that ran off the guide. And but that jig right there is amazing. The things you can do with it, the micro adjust that's in it, just being able to move it around. It's literally, if it's $150. It's not cheap, but for what you can do with it, it's pretty amazing. I highly recommend that jig if it's for just for your table saw. So especially if you're going to do tenons, you can do hollows, you can do even like door frames. You talked about doing your doors, Mustache. You can do half laps, or you can do blind laps on them where you have your mortise and tenon basically, where you can do your doors. For when you do your door frames, you're completely just lapping it over. It's really nice jig. So, and it fits any table saw. It used to be a Porter cable, then it became Delta, and so they have those, and now they have them for Wackerle, have them for just about anybody. Harvey's got one. There's a bunch of them out there, but they're all exactly the same. So if you've never had a chance to use one, try it.
So one that I bought and then ended up making, I bought the Wackerle box joint jig that goes on your router table. And I don't know if I talked to you about it or not, but there is just a lot of play, some significant play in it. And there was a lot of movement. So when I was seeing it through the router table, even though I tried to like mess with the speed of the router, I was still getting a lot of tear out. And when you would go to do the box joint, they weren't matching up, even though it was being done right. I was setting it up properly. It just wouldn't work. I couldn't get it to work right. And I messed with it. Finally, I got frustrated and I just made the old style that'll go on your miter gauge. Basically, you could attach it to the miter gauge. And I've got a few versions of it, just depending on the size of material that I'm using. And that works great. Cheap, shop made. I shouldn't have spent the money I did because I just thought it would work and it was easier right on the router table and I can zoom right through, but I could never make that thing work right. It was just jacked up for whatever reason. I don't know if because they use MDF and it's has Formica on it and they make it all nice and pretty. I don't know if that swelled or something happened. I don't know. And I meant to take it, like I bought it up in San Antonio and I meant to take it back, but I was like, just, what are they going to do? They're going to give me another one. It's still going to be, maybe it's salvageable. I could take the parts of it because it's a cool design and it's got brass inserts for the size of the material, but it's the other portion of it that just doesn't work right. Maybe I just got a lemon,
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So I know, Joey, that you did recently. You have another jig that you use, and I have one as well. Mine's the older style Porter cable from back in the day, but you got the newer one for doing dovetails, correct? And that same jig, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you take and offset your wood by the thickness of your blade, you can actually set that up for doing box joints as well.
Yeah, I got the insert for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that makes it's usually pretty quick. But Like again, you got to make sure your jig's set up correct, your thicknesses are set up correct. But once you do it, it makes it super easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another
and I started messing with it, and I never went over to the bit. I was messing with dovetails because I wanted to do dovetails,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried doing them by hand, and I need to practice because, of course, you know, I never done them.
Right.
To be honest, and they were all screwed up. And then, you know, just trying to get, it wasn't a time to practice. I was trying to get something done. So that's when I pulled out that Wackerle jig that I had, and I tried to use it. It didn't work. So I just went the old fashioned way and made one for the miter gauge. And that's how I was able to do it. And I need to revert back to that and try it again and use it. See if maybe I can make it work. Maybe it was something that day that I just wasn't catching. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a cool setup, but you know, it could have been my fault. I could have been doing something wrong. I just couldn't get it to work. And then, you know, you get frustrated and
Oh, of course.
I just got to put it aside. So,
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the dovetails, one of the jigs that I like, if I'm going to do it by hand, and I mean, I usually don't give people credit, but that Cat Moses jig that he has for doing dovetails, I like it. You got to take your time with it. It's got a magnet, holds your Japanese pole saw to it perfectly, and you can make a good smooth cut. You just don't want to cut right on the line. You want to be just a hair, so that way you can shave it. But those right there are I like those jigs. I got both of them, the 8-in-1 and the 6-in-1 that he's got. I got both, and I've never had a problem of them. I know some people complain about them, but if you're just starting out hand doing dovetails, those are a great guide to get you cut. You just got to remember which ones to cut first, which ones, you know, to get all that down. And once you get it down, it's real easy.
yeah, I bought the same version of that, but I bought it at, I believe I told you, but I bought the Veritas one. I caught them on sale.
Yeah.
It got the magnet. And I want to try them too. Just, you know, I've been trying to finish this up in here, but that kind of stuff I've always been hesitant to get into because, you know, it's just something that I've never really tried because it's, you know, I find
it's intimidating. It is intimidating.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. It really
when
is.
I tried to do the last one free-handed, I was like, oh no. I mean, those were horrible. And what's that? The coping saw that I had to finish them out on the bottom. Jesus, I really need some practice with that because that is I tell you what, when the guys that are doing them by hand are making them look nice, that takes a lot of talent, a lot of practice, they're talented.
Yes.
Because you think you can do some stuff and you try doing that. That takes a lot of practice to get that down just right. And I need all the help that I can. And I'm like you, man. When I saw that magnet jig, I'm like, boom. I'm like, here, you know, you see those videos, like, here's my credit card. Send it to me. Because I'm like, dude, that thing is what it's gonna do is it's gonna make that muscle memory learn that this needs to, you know, so that you can start doing them free-handed, you know. But I mean, with those jigs, I mean, that's like you're saying, just come off your line a little bit and then chisel out the rest, and you can get it just perfect.
Yeah, you know? And there's not a lot of videos out there that show every step in full detail. They'll show this part, and then they'll just kind of zoom through the rest because they think everybody knows that. Or the next guy will say this part, but he zoomed through the beginning. It's like, which part is important? But yeah,
and that's you get those guys that do it all the time, and they just, like you say, they feel like, oh, well, I don't need to know this. What? So,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, did I do that? My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, just interrupt us, BJ.
Yeah, interrupt autonomous over here. Interrupt autonomous.
A box joint jig is one that I've yet to make, and I really want to make one for the table saw.
The best one that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few, King Woodworking, King's Fine Woodworking has one. Yeah. And then the other one that I saw that has the lever on, or lever, however you want to say it, that where you push it and it
Here.
moves the piece over.
Is that Fisher shop?
Fisher's, yeah, Drew Fisher.
Yes.
He did one. That one was amazing, but watching the video, I have to actually like stop, pause, write everything down, go to the next portion, or actually just buy the plans from him. But that one is amazing. Purge your jigs because you have too many ones and you can't remember what they're for. No, but I do purge. I do purge some of the stuff because the gap is become worn out, where it's instead of being 1/8 of an inch on the blade, wobbled a little bit, and or I didn't exactly have it perfect. So I'll get rid of those and rebuild. But I like having a new, especially crosscut sled, which is a jig we haven't talked about yet, but I think it's the most versatile jig in your shop is a crosscut jig for your table saw. I don't like the single. I like the double, so it's on both guides. And I do the 5-step the 5-cut method to be able to do square mine up. And once I'm done it, then I make sure that I have that particular one for a long period of time. I take care of it. But that one right there is one that I think it's the most versatile blade or jig in your whole entire shop. Yeah.
So I've got the Rockler one, and it's a single rail. It just because you have the one side and you have the drop off side because you can get all or nothing.
That is the single. Yeah, you're right. I never thought about that.
And I absolutely love it, especially for the fact that I primarily only use it at 90, but it goes up to I think past 45. I don't remember because I don't use it that often past other than 90. But it's it's convenient. It's not huge because I've built them in the past, and it's like the thing's as long as my table saw is tall. So then storing it becomes a pain. This one's small enough where it tucks nicely underneath the table saw.
Yeah, I got my design is between King's Fine Woodworking. I got his, and then Nick Ferry did one he's out of Wisconsin.
Yep. I know Nick. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a cross between those two. Yeah.
My original one was based off of Nick's, and then a former guest that we had on here, Casey from C. Reeves, he made one a while back, and it was just absolutely beautiful because he used that black melamine to do it with all red T-tracks and everything, and it just looked freaking killer. But I agree with you. Yeah, a crosscut sled, you could almost go without having a miter saw.
Yes,
it's the thing. If you don't have a room for a miter saw, like we talked a couple weeks ago, because some of those miter saws are so freaking deep.
Right.
If you're doing a slider, freaking crosscut sled, man, that's that's really all you need in a lot of cases.
Well, if you look at King's Fine Woodworking's, his is actually has an insert. So like you have the top, and then he has an insert to his, so that you can it automatically pops in and does the 45s and does everything else to it.
Oh,
so
cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 2-in-1, actually 3-in-1, because you also can do why can't I think of it right now? My mind's drawing a blank, so we'll just come back to it in a minute. But it's I know when it's like this, I'm not going to remember it, but it's for cutting long pieces and squaring them all up. Kind of like that.
About.
Yeah, but that's another jig that goes to it. He's got that set up on it as well. But that whole jig system that he's got, I love it. I've been following him for years. But yeah, he's got a couple good jigs on that one. So it's basically it's got the T track on it and everything, and then it's got the 45 track that goes to it, and it drops in so that way you can do it from both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, and talking about table saw jigs, so I'm trying to remember who it was that made it, but they and you might remember as I talk about it, a picture frame jig
for like splines. For splines.
No, for cutting your for doing framing, for doing the frames.
Yeah,
talk about Rockler that
no.
So that's the one that King's does. The picture frames. I
think David Pachuto made one, and it's got a ruler built into it and everything, so he can set, and it's got stop blocks because he makes a lot of picture frames. Now that I say it, yeah, it was him. And I don't make a lot of picture frames, but I also hate making picture frames because I think they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I think
Delicate.
a jig like that would make it so much easier. But it's also one of those things that's like, I would make it, use it a couple times, and then probably not touch it for 5 years. Yeah.
Well, that's something like that you're going to know if your saw's set up right or anything, because especially for new lighters, you're going to find out the ugly truth quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if Newton makes.
Newton makes. I don't know.
Huh, I don't recognize.
So
Jamie said Drew from Rockin' H Woodshop makes a nice one too.
He does. It really does. His is really modeled off from the other ones, those other two that I talked about as well. But Drew does a really good job of it, but he does a really good job of explaining it. So him and King's Fine Woodworking both do a really good job of explaining how to square it up, how to get everything taken care of, and that 5-cut method, and then measuring your piece. And that tells you exactly how to move your back fence. Really is very helpful to get everything squared up, because once you get that back fence squared up, then you can run everything straight off from it, and it makes it so much easier. Yeah.
Do y'all have any? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to suggest a jig that you don't like, and I know exactly which one I'm going to say, but I mean, is there anything that y'all don't like on jigs?
Just go on with what you were going to say.
So the one I don't like, and I find it sketchy, is the spindle jig for the table saw.
Spindle jig. Oh, where like you're using a table saw in
with a
place
drill.
of a lathe. Oh, yeah. I've seen some where they're.
That looks sketchy.
I think
very sketchy.
Crafted Workshop did one, but the way he built it, the blade is fully enclosed, like you are, or no, I think it was Wobie Designs, where everything is completely enclosed, like your hands are nowhere near the blade.
Yeah, and there's a couple like
collection
that.
And everything, but
still,
it's
Izzy
sketchy.
did the same thing. Izzy did the same thing. There's a couple of them. Yeah, it's they do a remarkable job, and I guarantee they got it turning out great every time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
to me, just a little sketchy.
Still, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not how the table saw is supposed to work, though. You know, you're putting.
I mean, he's not only doing spindles on it; you can do bowls. Inside and outside. It's just, I mean, great setup, and if you are comfortable with your setup of doing it, that's great. I think that's great. But me personally, I just don't see it.
Well, and I guess not necessarily a jig, but cove cutting with a table saw. I mean, it's you've put you've mounted pieces to the table saw
where it's like 45. It's like 45 degrees going into the blade.
Oh, and it's even like circle cutting jigs on a table saw. Like,
get a router bit. Get a router.
I mean, hell, use a jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
use a scroll saw. Jeez,
use a scroll saw. Joey,
no, do not use a scroll saw for something.
I'll just
you can't even cut a straight circle on that thing. Yeah, the Canadian dude does it too. DIY built. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah, and I'm not saying you be safe in your shop and I'll be safe in mine kind of thing. You know, I'm fine with that, but I just don't feel comfortable with it, and it's maybe because I haven't been a part of it and actually done it. And I just look at it, the pressure that you're putting on a blade and which way it's supposed to go. And it's, I think, Dan says, you know, it's putting pressure on those bearings so that you're putting pressure on your blade this way. Well, it's made to go this, not this. And so you're now now you're going to get where your blades, all messed up. And I just don't think that's a good thing.
Or you could weaken the brazing with the carbide teeth.
Yeah.
There's too much, to me, it's too much risk. If I'm, and I've been known to, if I'm, you know, because I don't have the dado set up for my saw stop. So I'll cut dados or not dados, but cut like half flaps with my saw. And, you know, you've got everything cut out and then it's like take it and just kind of slide it across the top of the blade to clean it up. Like,
Yeah.
that's a very, I mean, you're taking off a 64th or
it's still thin.
maybe
Right.
Yeah.
maybe a 16th of an inch. Like, that's not a lot, but yeah, hogging out that much, like, there's better ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're asking for a kickback and
Yes.
something could
Only
lead to
happens
worse. Just like
once.
that. Yeah.
Mm,
Just like that gal that did it. That video went viral where she was using it to. She's using her saw stop. Luckily, she had a saw stop to do a
it
circle.
pulled her hand into it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Everybody thinks they're going to be quick enough, but when you're held on to
Mhm.
something, that happens so quick that your mind can't tell your hand to let
go
go,
fast. Yep.
and it's
No.
going right into that blade. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Dangerous. Anyhow, I mean, there's cheaper. I mean, there's other ways you can do that. I mean, you just think about what are your digits worth to you? You know,
Yep.
Proper tool for the proper method.
yeah.
And that's
I
what
I
come back to.
type. I sit at a keyboard, and these fingers make me money. So I'm gonna be.
So to cheap out on a $30 jig or just
Mhm.
making something else on another tool that you have, it's probably
Mhm.
the best way to do it. Don't make a jig, try to make a video to go viral so you get all these people to give you heck about something that you did. Be smart about it, be safe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't put back a finger once it's gone, you know. You're not a lizard.
Let's talk about jigs that make things safer. So one of my favorite jigs that I use all the time is a flattening jig for my planer. So
Oh, like a sled. A sled
got
to,
a-
like,
sled.
put under.
I've got a 3-foot
Mhm.
piece of plywood or MDF, so I know it's nice and flat. It's got a stop on the back, and then I can hot glue wedges in place to if I'm trying to plane a board or
Mhm.
something
you
that's
get,
not
get your
flat.
one side flat, and then
Mhm.
then when I'm done, and then you're pulling it back over, you got that side flat. And now
Yeah.
you have that to compare to, or that you're
'Cause
running.
if you don't
through.
have a
Yeah.
joiner,
Mhm.
Reference
so I
surface.
guess
Yeah.
kind of a joining sled or whatever, or joining,
Yeah.
and I use that sucker all the time because I've tried the skip planing method, but if that board is really wonky, even
Mhm.
skip
You don't do
planing
it.
is not going to do it. Yeah.
So just to answer JP's thing here, just for a comment on it, yeah, are the views really worth it though, to be able to sit there and lose a finger, or stick a board into your stomach because you got a kickback or whatever? No.
That's
No.
But I mean, some people, you see some of the same reels coming out where they're doing things like that, and they're just out there trying to grab views, trying to get
Exactly.
something to go viral.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, to each their own, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into that. It's whatever, it's just be safe.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
do that
100%.
stuff.
So
Why you
yeah, go ahead. I mean, but I was going to say, yeah, I agree 100% with you. And I was thinking about what BJ was saying about safety and what jigs I use. Somebody just commented the micro jig. I use a micro jig that goes on top of my my fence, and it's got a kickback or feather board on it, and I can slide into, and it stops. It doesn't stop it. It helps prevent
Helps.
it.
Yeah.
From
Yes.
coming back
Well, yeah,
at me, and it holds it down. So
Yeah,
when you're into your piece, and you're hitting the backside of that blade,
Mhm.
it's not coming up. Now, one of the things I don't use for safety is I don't use a rising knife. And it's because I have an older
Riving.
model riving knife.
Riving.
yeah.
Yeah, well, if you don't use one, you don't know what it is.
It's a knife that rises.
Exactly.
You
There
go
go.
ahead and call him out, Mustache. Go ahead and call him
Exactly.
out.
I
He
like it.
deserves
Call me
He
out. I
deserves
do.
it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
But the reason I don't use it is I have a 1948 table saw, and the only place that I had it is it used to come on the back side of the table saw, and so that's where it was attached at. So if you look at a 1948 Delta, they had a bar that went through the back of the table saw and then came up. So it was this far away from the blade.
Foot away from the blade.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
What's the point?
Yeah. And so
I
then
mean-
they made a like what's the name of that company? Shark. I can't remember the name of it. Shark something. But they made a an add-on that would go right in the back of the blade.
Mm-hmm.
But every time that you move your blade, adjust your blade, you have to, if you put it on an angle, it doesn't follow the angle. But then you would have to raise it up. You have to take off the insert, raise it up a little. You got to do it every single time. And it just got
annoying.
So yes. And so I'm more careful on my cuts. And if I feel that it's moving or it's pulling, I just turn off the blade, flip it around, cut back the other way. But that feather board that goes on the top helps hold down the piece so it's not lifting up on the back end on you, and it's not wanting to pull it back towards you. So
another one that's good are the Jessam rollers that go up there.
Mm-hmm.
Those things,
I love them.
Put pressure and also put pressure to keep that material going tight against that fence. Because if you've cut enough plywood, you could try to keep it against there.
Mm-hmm.
But as you start cutting material, it starts giving. I don't care what it is.
Oh yeah.
And that pinch there on the backside of that saw blade was going to cause your kickback. But those guides are nice to have if you can, they're a little pricey, but they're worth it. If you've ever had a kickback, I mean, it makes you gun shy after you've had a good one. It'll scare you.
Yeah,
they had a really good deal on those a year or two ago, and I missed it.
Yeah,
I think that's when I picked mine up. Was when they had that deal, because I love mine.
Yeah, those look super slick. Well, I mean, so going back to one of the comments, because you have these, BJ. Do you use the micro jig like grippers?
I don't have any micro jig.
I have them, and I don't use them as much as I would like to say I do, but I have homemade push sticks that actually, I don't use a push stick. Let me rephrase that. It's got a tail on the back end of it, and the handle is over top of the piece, so it keeps pressure down on the board.
That's
where most people use push sticks, and it doesn't do anything for lifting up on the blade. And I'm always skittish on that because that lifting up on the back end.
Yeah.
So
I have micro jig, and I love them. I don't know why I procrastinated in buying them. Once I bought them, I ended up going and buying more just because for all the purposes, whether it's on the joiner or just the table saw, I bought another set. So as I'm pushing, if it's a long board, just to kind of help. But man, those micro jigs where you could space it out, and I think they're worth every penny.
That little short, I mean, you can do up to what, like a quarter of an inch, like that thinner side on those grippers.
Yeah.
And
it's super thin.
And you talk about that. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I have two of them that I literally did not pay for either one of these. I was on another podcast and won them 2 weeks in a row. But I have two of them sitting there. One still in the box. I'm pulling a Joey on it, and then the other one I assembled. And I still have not. I played with it a little bit, and I'm so used to my push sticks that I already have. I haven't used them, and that's
so if you don't want the other one, Matt, I'll send you a box with a hat in it with a return.
Right.
I'll wait for that. I was fixing to tear into you. I was like, maybe he'll trade it for a hat.
I'll wait for the hat to get here.
You wait for the hat, okay? Yeah.
So I believe Dance is here. He's talking about that jig that has a bearing that goes in your T slot on the left side of the blade.
Mm-hmm.
And then you adjust to that. I believe that's what he's doing. I finally got one. I have not used it, so I couldn't tell you if I like it or not.
I've had one for 3 or 4 years now, and I don't use it a lot, but when I do need to use it, it's nice. Personally, if I'm having to do thin rips like that, I'm going to the bandsaw, unless I'm just ripping, a 6-foot board. I will say the longer the material that you're running through the saw, it's harder to set it up because you're trying to, handle a longer piece of material and get it where you can scoot the fence over just the right amount. Because if you put too much pressure on it, it doesn't want to go through. If you put too little pressure on it, then it's not good. And but it's nice. If you're just needing to rip, 2 foot long pieces of wood to do like, what's it called?
Thin rips.
Edge banding.
Yeah.
Like edge banding and stuff. Yeah. It's
Yep.
great for that. Yeah. I do.
I
think it was worth what I paid for it.
I have the mag switch. I have the mag switch version of that. What he's talking about, and I've only used it a couple times. I haven't played around with it enough, but the few times that I used it, it worked great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, the table saw is going to give you pretty much, if you got a good blade, going to give you the good finish.
Oh,
you might not have to do anything
Best
versus
consistent.
bandsaw. It's a little easier on the sole. You're not as tense, I think, because it's just, not a table saw, right? Because it can go real bad on a table saw real quick when you're doing stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, that's just, I haven't tried mine. It's still in the box. Just put it out there. I haven't used it. I got it during the holidays and I haven't tried it. So I don't know. And I needed to cut some I needed to trim those shelves off back here, but I had some edge banding, so I just ironed it on.
Yeah.
I was gonna cut some, but I said, this would be a lot easier to do it. So that's what I did on that.
I had there for a while. I had there's just a 2x4 that had I cut a lip on the backside of it, and I used that for thin rip, but running it on the blade side. So having the fence, a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch away from the fence. And it was all right. It was still a little sketchy just because if it goes left, it's going to go left fast if you're not careful.
You start.
Yeah,
you're spacing out like an inch away from your.
No, like an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch.
Your piece you're gonna use is between the blade and the fence.
And it can it's one of those things like, all right, boys, we're about to get Western. It's about to, I've had a few kickbacks where it's broken, haven't gotten out from between the blade and the fence fast enough as I lift up the push stick or push block, and it goes flying past me into the back wall. And that's one of the reasons I went and bought that jig from Wackerle to do thin rips.
I mean, that's where you got a good combination where you put the Jessam roller guides in there. But, once your material gets so thin, it's kind of hard to get it pushed through there because those guides are in the way. But those are things you got to fight against and figure out what's the best way to do it,
But that thin rip jig does put a little pressure on it before the blade to keep it up against the fence. It's once you get into the blade where it can walk if you're not careful.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, going back to the bandsaw. So like I have the micro jig, resaw like helper thing. And, what I didn't like about, cause I have the Harvey, 14-inch bandsaw, and you can add a height thing to that, mag switch, resaw thing, but I didn't like how much flex the top of, so like say I'm doing like a 14-inch piece through, say 13, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's gonna have a little play on the top because like that's just magnetized at the very bottom. It's not all the way up to the top. So I ended up getting that that flap that everyone uses. Was it like green?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That little rubber flap for resawing, and I think I like that way better because
is that Gorilla or something? What is it called?
I think so. I know what you're talking about. Right. I bought it and returned it. I didn't like it.
Somebody out there ought to know what it is. I know what you're talking. It's that green that thing that it just come out this year or last year, end of last year, I think.
Thingamabobbers and Dumaflash.
Hold on. Bow. It's by Bow Products. Yeah.
Bow Products. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's cool because like even
I don't know.
Yeah. even Miller has that. They sent him all that stuff, and it has the extension
Yeah.
for your bandsaw. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice setup once you get it all.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. I put the extension for the height on mine, and it works pretty good. I mean, I definitely have to dial it in a little bit more because I've only used it once or twice, and I didn't quite have it in enough. So I probably wanted like more tension on the board, but it was I think it's better than the mag switch one that I had.
Leave it alone, Matt.
So
He's been
seen
smirking. He's been
I've been
smirking this whole time.
This whole
I-
time I've let it go.
He was
Whole time.
he
Just
was
let
sitting
him
there.
cook.
It was,
Let him cook, baby. Let him cook. Come on.
he was thinking about it. I was like, shut up. It's there.
There's yeah, but anyways, so
I'll just mute you.
my opinion on what Dance has said there was: do you do it on your rip side or do you do it on your other side and make your
Yeah.
cut? I do it the opposite. So I let my good piece would be on the outside of the blade. My rip piece or anything else, the majority of the piece would be on the inside of the fence, between the
Yes.
fence and the blade.
Yeah.
Therefore, having my rip piece be there. Some people try, I don't know how you do it because you're putting pressure against your fence, try to keep your good piece to be between the blade and the fence. There's no freaking way that you can do that.
That's what BJ was saying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was doing.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, I had to make a push block out of a piece of 2x4
Yeah.
just so I even felt safe to do it. And this was before I had my Festool. This is when I was using my rigid table saw. So
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those things like, oh man, if this goes south, it's going south fast.
That's
and
where you have your knee ready to hit that paddle stop on that saw and shut it off, you know?
Yep.
yeah.
Because that's
That's how Michael Alm does his like patterned plywood veneer.
Oh, in between the fence and the blade?
Yeah, he has that same
Really?
space, and that's his cut. He's not
guess
he's
I've
not
never
moving the
noticed-
fence.
I
He's
guess
not
I've never
moving the
noticed
fence
that
every
when I've
time.
watched him do that. I need to watch one of his videos then. Okay.
I mean, I guess you can if you just, like you could just pop that if you're following it up with the 2x4 and it's actually hitting the blade, it's keeping it from kicking back, right? In essence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
But
then
I've
just
like I
hit
said,
the
I've
saw
had it
off.
kick back.
Just hit the saw off as you come up to it with your knee and turn it off. I mean, just to get
Yeah.
that blade to start spinning down. But it's pretty. There's a lot of work in moving parts having to work just right so it doesn't
Mhm.
kick back. And man, if it kicks back, whoo,
And that's why I
Shrapnel.
tend to do it on the bandsaw. But yeah, it usually if I'm doing it on the bandsaw, then I'm having to go to the drum sander. There's a little more work involved.
Yeah.
But
do that.
for me, it's that how much pucker factor do I want in this process? Because I can rip, and there's less waste on a bandsaw, so I can get a lot more out of it than I can with a table saw. So that's the other side. What did he say?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Had a hole in
Oh,
my
yeah.
ripping tongue and groove. Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I have one shoot out of my old shop through the. Luckily, the garage door was open and it shot across the yard.
Whee!
But I was standing to the side because I knew it was kind of a risky
Well-
thing to do. And when it kicked back, boy, that thing shot out like a freaking missile and went flying across the yard. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that again.
And see, I
Now-
think that's a habit we should all have, anyways. When you're using a table saw, you never should stand behind that blade.
Oh no, you're supposed
You
to
know,
stand off to the side.
always
It's
stand
not
off,
always
but I've-
easy.
No, it's
But-
not. But that's where, like, if you're doing stuff where it's not easy, that's where those guides come in handy
Yes.
Mhm.
because it's a third and a fourth hand
Yeah.
to help
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
Because it puts that pressure, it's got enough taper in it.
Yep.
We're putting that pressure against that fence.
Mhm.
So it helps you not have to be directly behind that, and that's
Yeah.
those are part of the, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I think I haven't bought them, but I need to get them.
It's worth it. I mean, yeah, they'll sit in a box for a year, but I would buy a pair.
But at least I have them,
But see, I'm so aware of what's going on with the table saw because that's, I mean, the tool that scares me the most in my shop, which people laugh at me, whatever, I don't care. Routers scare me more than anything. Using a trim router or using just any, just a router, because I've had more oh crap moments with a router. But I am more aware of what's going on in my shop when I am using my table saw. So like if my kids are out there, hey guys, Dad's about to turn the table saw on, go to the other end of the shop. You do not get behind me.
So I got kind of bigger hands. Okay. I mean, they're not huge, but they're not small at all. And what I find is I like to, when I grip around that trim router, is my fingers
You
either
touch
go
the bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that'll make you and I've lost more bits that way than I have anything. And I think what I'm going to do, and I've seen a lot of people do it, is put bigger plates at the bottom of it, so that in that way you can put a handle at the plate. And I'm not wanting to reach around and grip a hold of the whole entire router.
So
yeah,
I got the kit from Drew Witt. It's the bigger plate. It's got a handle on it, and it's got the dust port on the bottom of it. I love that. That makes using a trim router so much nicer because and it gives you that more surface area to hold on to. But mine comes from as a kid. My dad, anytime he was using a trim router or anything, he's like, "Hey, hold the end of this," and of course, you always end up downwind of the bit. And I had a chunk. He hit a knot, and it kicked the knot out and hit me in the face.
Ooh.
And so after that, I was like, "No, I don't want nothing to do with this." But
the worst ones with the trim router is when you're routing out, like maybe putting a chamfer or something on a circle, on a hole.
Yeah.
And that thing grabs and it just goes every which way.
Yeah.
I've actually wasn't expecting it, and I lost total grip, and that thing freaking flew out of my hand onto the freaking floor.
And see, that is why to this day I say routers should have a trigger on them. It should not be an on-off switch. You should have to hold down a button.
My first DeWalt did. My first DeWalt was a plunge router, and you had to pull the trigger, then push down on it, and then you could run it. But if you let go of that thing at all, it just killed the router.
Yep, that was my old Craftsman.
Yeah, and I had a porta cable that was like that as well.
Just like the Makita track saw. And I don't know, I haven't had it happen on the Festool one, but the Makita, if you kind of let the pressure off the trigger, that thing will just stop.
Oh yeah.
And you got to start back all over again.
Yeah, the Festool will stop once you release it.
I haven't had it happen to me with those, but that Makita, it's all the time, and I'm like,
there's more take up on the Festool, so you can your finger can go a little more slack on the Festool than the Makitas.
Yeah, that Makita don't take much.
Plus the Festool track saw has that
on the newer versions, the kickback on the newer ones.
Kickback, it's only happened to me once, but
Dances that needs to come to the US because now the downside of that doing with trim routers is you've got all these people, for CNCs that are using trim routers on a CNC.
Well, no, I think the downside of it is not only that, but then people that use them as jigs where they flip the router upside down, put it inside their vise, and then run it as a table saw, as a table router.
If they all have a dead man switch on them, like he was saying, a finger trigger, you're either going to have people putting a clamp on it or
something
futzing with the wire.
Yeah, zip tie, whatever. Yeah,
zip tie. And I mean, hey, I've done it on some tools where it's like, hey, this needs to be held. The trigger needs to be held down. And I mean, I've done it with I think we've probably all done it with a drill. If you're doing certain things with a drill,
hell, some of them have the switch on there to lock it in place, which is I think is just crazy on some things. There's some tools out in the shop that just have that button next to the trigger where you can just push in,
and it'll keep it running.
All your multi tools have them.
My Domino.
You noticed? Yeah,
Festool Domino has that.
Yeah, it does. Because I'm just looking at my multi tool that's sitting right down here, and it has a switch on it where you can just click it and it'll stay on.
Don't call me a multi tool.
Well, the Domino is just a switch. It's not you don't hold down a trigger on the Domino, do you?
No,
you just switch it. Yeah,
just turn it on, and there's no dead man on it.
But with the Domino, if you drop the Domino, the fence is going to kick out, and that bit is not exposed.
Right.
But with a router, it's just like an angle grinder. You know, because I've had angle grinders in the past that had an on-off switch. And yeah, they're convenient because you're not holding anything. But this new DeWalt angle grinder I have, it has you have to hold down a button.
But you
and
can
honestly,
lock it.
it's
But you can
not
lock
this one. Not
But
on
like
this one.
on the
No,
4.5,
and it's annoying.
But like on the 4.5-inch DeWalt angle grinders, like the ones we use for metal, which they're the damn same, I think, but they're corded. You have to press a lever to actually hit the paddle switch.
Yep,
to
it is a
actually engage
pain.
it. And I hated them, especially because you're having to concentrate to hold that.
Mhm.
And if you're grinding on something for a long period of time, you know,
Yeah.
if you're working on metal, especially,
Mm.
that gets tiresome. And once you let that go so much, that little safety kicks in and it's off, and then you got to re-trigger it. Now, on some of the big grinders, you're sitting in there and they have that, like some of the older ones, they have that button where
So-
you can.
Yeah, because
Grinder,
I have the 4.5-inch DeWalt that has like you said, that lever and then the paddle that you press down. And
Mhm.
then what's the next size up for angle grinders? Is it 8-inch?
I don't know what DeWalt makes. I have no clue. But you start
Whatever-
getting into those bigger
'Cause I've
grinders.
got
I
the-
mean, they're big.
I've got the big DeWalt that's like, I want to say it's like an 8-inch disc, and it's just a trigger, but next to it there is a button that will lock that trigger in place.
I think I got the
And-
8-inch Metabo is what I
Yeah.
got. So I got the 4.5 DeWalt. That both of them have locks on them.
Yeah.
And then I have the
Yep.
Metabo, which is a
Yeah.
lock. It just locks
And
in.
the only reason the 4.5-inch DeWalt comes to mind today is because I used it to sharpen a lawnmower blade today. Yeah, I'm a heathen. I use my angle grinder to sharpen
Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's
Man,
wrong with
nothing
that?
wrong with
lawnmower
that.
blade.
That's fine.
No.
That's fine.
I do it all the time.
Ain't dang thing wrong with that.
Just don't
Uh-uh.
take anything off the bottom, and you're good, right?
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with it.
But I did determine, because the saw blade's 4 years old, it's about time to replace it. There's a few nicks in this blade that I couldn't grind out.
That's one thing that like
Now with
I
that
like to
attitude-
use. I like to use the cutoff wheels on the angle grinders. That's one thing you need to wear eye protection and face or shields.
I use
So
flapper disc. I use a flapper
I
disc.
use a flap disc.
No,
yeah.
but I'm talking to cut. You know how you get. the
Oh yeah,
thin
no,
blade
I've
cut?
had those come apart on me cutting.
Oh, I did too.
metal.
I'm just saying, just be careful if you use
Yeah.
those.
It blows my mind when I see people, especially in the metalworking industry, running a cutoff wheel on an angle grinder with no guard. It's like, come on, guys! Like, this is your life.
And
Like,
squints. And they're using
yeah,
their
and it's
squints.
like
Safety
it's like, no.
squints.
Hey, just close my eyes and just cut. Put it on the line.
It's like close my eyes and
Yeah.
we'll hit you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
well, we
good
got.
job.
Were you just shooting with your eyes closed?
What?
Hell, I know that
The
out-
5-inch,
like out in
8
my
or-
dad's
okay.
welding trailer, we have a long grinder and it's old, but it's straight shaft. And you
Mhm.
put a rock blade, kind of like a stone grinding wheel on it. Now that takes a man, but it's just a straight shaft. It's probably 2 foot long. And that thing, you turn it on and did it go?
yep, it did. You gave it a high five.
No, it's still green. But that I got for
You and that camera.
I needed it anyways. But that thing is a hoss. That sucker there, man. It'll make you use that for a little bit. You don't need to go do any kind of workouts. That thing will give it to you.
Put some hair on your chest.
You dang right that will. That's an animal. That'll take out some metal quick. Yeah. Well, we went way off on this one, didn't we? It's good though.
Over.
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of things
That's
we can
good.
still continue to talk about jigs. I mean,
Oh,
there's
we could
plenty
keep
of
going.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things, so Madeira, he's got a great jig that he uses, I know it's not his, but he uses for his segmental bowls.
Yeah.
Well, he sells one. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, he does.
What's it
And-
called? The What is this
Wackadoo
called?
or
no, it's called the wedgie sled.
The
Wedgie
Wedgie
sled. There you go.
sled.
I
There
knew
you
it was
go.
I knew
Yep.
it was a goofy
Yep.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't know if that's what he. Well, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to put nothing in anybody's words. But yeah, cool.
yeah.
That's a cool thing. That is cool.
Are from angle grinders and chainsaw attachments. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that would be one of the jigs I thought was pretty good. Was that whatever you called it again. Wedgie sled.
Wedgie sled.
Yeah, wedgie
Wedgie
sled.
sled.
I don't think of wedgies like that. But the other one that I use that I've been using here recently is my Alaskan chainsaw mill. I consider that kind of a jig because it is a guide. It is something that you're riding on a rail, which my rail at the time would be either a 2x12 or a ladder is what I've been using. And it allows me to get a good flat surface to go to, and then I can just keep referencing off what I've already done with my chainsaw. Do y'all do any chainsaw milling or anything? Well,
No,
Joe, you don't have any
I don't
trees.
even.
I knew
I don't
you. I
have a
knew.
chainsaw.
I knew you were gonna go there. I just knew. As soon as he said that, as soon as he mentioned that freaking sled, I knew where he was going with this. I know this guy too well. No, Matt, I don't have any damn trees down here in South Texas.
So, anybody else know? I mean, I think Jason does. Jason run any Alaska chainsaw mills?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He does.
So,
Yeah, sure does.
All right, let's wrap this up. Go to the after show.
okay.
Oh, we were having fun.
I was.
Okay,
Hey,
whatever.
Take away all my
Party
fun.
pooper.
We have deadlines. here.
We got deadlines. So I'm gonna just show you something that Jamie sent while we were doing this. I don't know why I'm gonna do this to myself, but Jamie's just Jamie. So
We
Is
love
it a
you.
video of you
Thank
line
you for
dancing?
what you do.
Ah!
No.
with a
no.
scroll
But
saw. With the scrolls.
see, Jamie, that's not right because there's nothing in a box.
It should just have
I'm
boxes.
in the box.
It
I'm
should
in
be
the
you're
all-
in the box.
I'm in the box.
There you go. That's awesome. I
Jamie,
love
if
it,
you want,
Jamie. I love it.
Jamie, if you want to make me one, I won't complain.
He didn't think I was gonna show it. He
Ah,
didn't think I saw it. I saw it come through. I saw it come through in Messenger, and I'm like, "Who did he get?" And when I clicked on it, it was me. So, ha. There you go. But folks, thanks again for hanging out with us. It was great. We're gonna head on over to the after show. Go ahead, Matt.
I got one shout out to give
Okay.
out. JR. He did me this sign right here. I commissioned him to do a sign, and this is the sign he did for Michigan.
Yeah.
I got that. I'm building a shadow box for it to go up on the wall. It'll be in a shadow box. Did an amazing job. It looks awesome. Great job.
Bravo.
Great job.
Bravo.
Great job.
And one thing that I failed to mention, and I'm sorry, but to all the mamas out there, happy Mother's Day to my
Mhm.
wife.
Yeah. Happy
Happy
Mother's,
Day.
We do it
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
them,
Happy
and we need
Mother's
to mention all of them. Whether you have kids or fur babies, it doesn't matter. Happy
Doesn't matter.
Mother's Day.
Exactly.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
We're gonna head on over to the after show. If you want to join us and you want to support us, head on over there to patreon.com/Creative Makers Podcast. You can find us on Patreon, Creative Makers Podcast. Sign up. You can sign up for the cheapest way, and you can get in there and you can watch us be idiots like we
There
are, but
It
go hang
happened.
out with us. Matt really comes alive in there. Wackerle, I'm talking about, not Mustache. But anyhow,
He's
thanks
asleep.
again for joining us.
Bye.
We'll be here next Sunday, same time, same place, same beautiful
See ya.
faces. Remember to head on over to iTunes and give us a review. I want 10 stars, 10.
10 of them.
And we can also do it on Spotify. We still haven't figured out how to find the ones on Spotify, but we'll get there. But anyhow, until next week.
It's in a box somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank y'all. See y'all next week.
Later.